Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to demonstrate how to connect two Docker containers, and in order to do so we need to have Docker Engine installed locally. This is a hands-on tutorial, so please feel free to follow along. The agenda is to start off with sample services. We will build Docker images for each service. We will run each service in a dedicated Docker container. We will create a Docker network. We will add the containers to a Docker network, and finally we will check to see that we can actually query one service from another service. So let's get started. Let's have a look at the services. We have two sample Python services that use Flask. Each service has an app file where all the logic is and the endpoint is. And also we have a Docker file for each standard Docker file, as well as the list of modules to install. And similarly, in the other service, we have an endpoint, and we have a Docker file as well as a list of modules to install. So let's actually have a look at list of to-dos. Let's build Docker images for the services first. Let's have a look what images do we have already. So no images so far. And then let's navigate to the service directory, and from here let's see what we have. Okay, so we have a Docker file, and then let's build the Docker image and give it a ping service tag. Now as you can see, the Docker basically installing the modules. Flask is being installed, request is being installed. And let's do the same thing for the other service. We're gonna build an image and give it a tag of Pong service. And similarly, similar to the other one, we'll have Docker images created. Now let's have a look to see what images are there. Yeah, so both services have their images. And now we can actually check those off and then get started with running these images in a dedicated container. So let's have a look to see what containers are already there. And let's create a Docker container for the first service. We will expose the 5000 port, and we will point to the service Docker image name. And also let's copy this so we can reuse it for the second service. Oh wait. Oh yeah, I've used Docker container, so it should be Docker run. So let's fix that. Yep, that should do it. So the service is running in a container. Now let's do the same thing for the other service. We're gonna give it a Pong service container name, as well as expose a different port, 5001, and then give it the image name, Pong service. Now both of our services are running into different ports. Now we can have a look at the running Docker containers. Our containers are running. So let's cross these off the list. And now let's verify that we can actually query these services from the command line. So let's curl it. Let's curl the first service 0.0.0.0.5000, and I should get a ping. Hello, I'm a ping service. And then I'm a Pong service. So the services, the request shows up in here too. So we are able to reach the services from the host machine using their ports. And then let's verify that the services cannot communicate with each other. And in order to do that, we're gonna basically, let me fix that. In order to do that, we're gonna basically just query the ping endpoint, and I'll show you. So the ping endpoint is going to in turn query the Pong services Pong endpoint. So if the service is not reachable, we're gonna get an error, and then it will just print ping. So let's do that. Yeah, so we're just getting ping, obviously, because the other Docker container is not reachable. And there's no request mapped here. Yeah, so now let's cross that off, which means the Docker containers cannot communicate yet. And now we're gonna go ahead and see if we can create the Docker network. So let's use the Docker network command. We have those are the existing networks, and then let's create a ping pong network. Okay, so network is created. Let's have a look. Yep. And now we can actually inspect the network. Yep. So it doesn't have any containers attached to it yet. So just a basic network. Let's cross that off from our list. And now let's add the running ping pong service containers into the ping pong network that we just created. In order to do that, so we're going to use the Docker network connect, and then the network name followed by the service container name. So yep, so that's added because we didn't get any error. And we can also look at it using the inspect command. Yeah, so there's one Docker container added, and that's ping service container. And we can do the same thing for the Pong service to add that too. And let's have a look again. Yeah, so we have two containers added to network with their names, ping and Pong service containers. So let's cross that off the list too. Now we have a network with two containers running in it. And then let's verify that the containers are the network. We already done that. Let's verify that we can actually query the containers. Then this is the wrong tab. So yeah, let's curl it from here. Nope, that's 000 5000. And if I do ping, then as you can see in here, I should basically query the Pong endpoint of the other server, and then I should get the response. So I should get ping pong. Yeah. So basically, one service is able to communicate with other service. They're both running in separate Docker containers. So let's cross that off the list. And we can also test by stopping a service and verify that it's removed from the network. And then we can add it again using a different command. So let's do Docker inspect. And yep, so we have stopped one service, so it's automatically removed from the network. And now verify, yeah, we only have one container running, and there's the other container is exited, so we stop that container. Let's just remove that container, and then we can just create it again. Nice. Now let's have again. Yep. Okay. So let's again inspect to make sure that we don't have the container in the network. Yeah. And now we can go ahead and create a wrong tab. Let's close this tab. Yep. So let's create the container again, and then while we're creating it, we're gonna actually be okay. Let's query to make sure that we cannot reach it. Yeah. So this shows that the container is down, so we is not reachable. Let's cross this off, and then we can start the container back. So let's build the container, run the Docker image, and then while we're running it, we're going to provide it with the network command. So Docker run the same Pong service container, expose the same ports, and then -- network, we want to ping pong network. And this is going to directly create the Docker container and then add it to the network. So we don't have to do an extra command using the Docker network connect. Okay, so the service is created and is added to the Docker network. We can verify that with Docker network inspect. And yeah, so we added the Pong service back. And now if we query the endpoint, we should be able to see it's so okay, localhost 005000 ping. So yeah, I forgot the curl. So this should actually, so this is able to now communicate back again. So so we managed to show that these containers, once they are in the same network, then they can actually communicate with each other. I hope that you found this tutorial useful. If you have any comments, please feel free to let me know. Thank you.